Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, May 8th. Can't believe it, 2019. We are here at the Citrus Club. Me and my beautiful friend, Shawna Lafont. She felt bad for me in my Devo sunglasses, so she decided to wear sunglasses too. It is a little bright up here. We're in a funny place in the club, back of the dining room. Greg Flower, Jennifer Holt, give us a thumbs up. Welcome. Let us know you can hear us and see us. That's always the most important thing. We got people banging silverware in the back there, but there's nothing you can do. You can't make this up. All right, so we got lots of love. Hey, Rosemary German, what's going on? Susie Parker. So yeah, my eyes are still a little bit, I went to the doctor yesterday, so everybody relax. I swear to God, I get messages, Ted, you need to do this. And so they're giving me a new round of antibiotics and a different round of steroids. So hopefully I'll be able to not be light sensitive anymore. So welcome, Shawna. It's your first go round at the TED show.
It is. How long have you been trying to talk me into getting
I
on this
have,
show?
but you know you have to be ready when you're ready or when you're not. And you just go, let's go for it, which I think is exactly what you did.
I did.
All right, so tell us a little bit about you. I love the title of the show because you've got a background in cheerleading, but you're also a big cheerleader. So let's talk about that. Give us your background.
Well, it's crazy because I was actually a dancer, which is kind of
I was a
total
dancer
opposite
once in my own mind. I
of
was
cheerleading.
You were a
but
dancer?
I was, like, all the way through college.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, tell us that story. What kind of dance did you get into?
Well, it's not big here in Florida, but in Texas we have what we call drill teams. And
Yes, drill teams are big in Texas.
Yes, really big. So I was on a drill team and went to college and got
All right, so drill team, do you do the dance at the halftime show?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
March of the band.
Do you have the
perform at
baton? Do you have the
No.
no flags or
No.
You just dance.
It was dance, yeah.
I
A
love
lot
it.
of dancing, yeah. But we did the high kicks.
You did the high kicks.
Yeah, high kicks.
We always waited. That was our. I'm not really a sports guy, but the best part of every sports event usually is the halftime show. Sorry, my opinion. And so, how did you get into that? Mom
just
say,
fell
Dad
into it.
said, this is it.
Well, I twirled baton like when I was little.
I
and
still can't do that.
I know, it's crazy. I was actually, this is big, I was Miss Majorette of Texas.
Wait, you were. All right, so these are good stories. You were Miss Majorette of Texas.
Miss
So
Majorette
tell
of Texas.
tell me how that works. Did you compete
Yes.
with other majorettes in
Around
Texas?
the whole state, yes.
Oh my God,
I came
did
in
you
first place, and
That's
I was Miss Majorette of Texas. Yeah.
So, see, you should have told me that before. I would have had you bring whatever that means,
Oh my
and we would have
God.
just made the camera go out further, and you could have twirled for me or done something.
The last time I tried, I could still do it one turn.
What does that mean? What does Majorette of Texas mean?
I mean,
What did you have to do?
It's weird. It's like in Texas, the competition you twirl, which obviously
So do
you throw the baton.
By
and
the way,
spin
it's not like
around.
the Ted twirl when I've been drinking. It's the twirl of this,
You
right?
twirl the baton,
Yeah.
spin around a couple times, catch the baton. Yeah, the whole thing.
Nice.
Yeah, I was 6.
I like that part of the story. So you were 6 and you were Miss Majorette of Texas.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. What part
I'm
of
actually
Texas?
in a book. I'm in a book.
You're in a book?
Who's Who in baton twirling?
Just, did you
Okay.
come prepared to make me laugh the whole time?
Okay.
All right, so you're in Who's Who of Baton Twirling?
Who's Who in baton? I think I still have the book at home.
I have a friend, Donald Stamets, that actually should be in that book. So, Donald, I'm going to tag you later because he twirled in New Jersey. I don't think they called it drill team back then, but it wasn't twirling team either, but it was something.
No.
All right, so obviously Miss Majorette of Texas at 6 took you a long way. You had a passion for it, right? You loved it.
It was fine. I was 6. I didn't know any better. It's what my mom put me in, but yeah, it worked.
All right, but you did dance. How did that develop?
I mean, dance was kind of the logical step from twirling. I think I actually quit twirling when I was probably like 10 and got into dance, and I've always done it, and it paid for college, so what can you...
Wait, it paid for college?
Yeah,
How did that work?
I went to school on a dance scholarship.
No way. Did you go in Texas?
Yeah.
What part of Texas are you from?
East Texas. I'm from Dallas, but I went to
That's
college in East
right.
Texas.
That's where my kids live.
Trinity Valley, Cardettes.
Nice.
Go TVCC.
Good morning, Tony Fox. What's happening? Can't believe some of the stories. All right, but I didn't even know that there were scholarships for that.
Yeah.
All right, so you take it as far. Hey, Allie, you take it as far as you can go, and then what happens in and out of college?
So I came back home, and my little sister was trying out for cheer. And so, of course, my mom was like, hey, can you go help her with tryouts? Can you get her ready? So I went up there and I helped, I was just there to help her, show her what to do. And the coach, I was probably 19, 20. I was really young. The coach asked my mom if I would assist her, like be her assistant coach.
Nice.
And so I've been coaching since I was 20.
Yeah, but you had not been a cheerleader, but you had been on the field with cheerleaders.
I was
like you
a
had
cheerleader for like 2 years before I really got into drill team. And then I just kind of drill team all the way through high school. But I had cheered before, but it wasn't like my passion. My passion was dance. And then I started coaching, and oh my God, just fell in love with the kids. Like, I like the crazy ones that are the 8th graders that are all attitude and
they're also fearless
drama.
then, right?
Right.
I feel like there's a fearlessness in that
They're so
group.
much fun. Like, I love them.
Both my daughters cheered through high school, and the one thing I used to go is, oh my God, I don't know how to be a parent of the flyer. It always freaked me out because the flyer is 100% dependent on a whole bunch of girls with attitude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh
Yeah.
my God, but they take it when that flyer's up there. The flyer's the top person, the person that you see literally fly through the sky. And that person's 100% dependent on every single human being underneath them, and everybody's got a role. Yeah. I mean, it's very, my daughters still get offended when somebody doesn't refer to it as basically a sport. Like,
oh, me too.
So they get mad, and they're in their later 20s, mid to later 20s, and they're like, it is sport. Do you understand how many practices and what we had to do, how many people's lives we had in our hands?
It's great. It's harder. I know we get into debates. I get into debates with football players because they don't think that it's that hard. And I'm like, here's the thing. You have a whole game to prove yourself. We get 2.5 minutes. Mm-hmm. One mistake and you're done. You're out. So it's a lot harder than people think that it is. So I love it. I mean, it's
Did you
intense.
do competitive?
Well, I ran a Pop Warner program for 10 years. So it's extremely competitive. Like, my team's made it to nationals every year.
Oh my God! So you went to one of mine and my daughter's and my wife's favorite movies is Bring It On.
Actually, one of the one that was filmed here in Orlando.
Yeah.
A coach that I coached with was in that.
No
in the
way.
Movie. Yeah, Brian. Shout out to Brian. He's on my Facebook page.
You know what's great about that is the reason I think we all loved it. It was about as close to reality as far as the competition and the cheer part goes.
Yeah.
But it's so much work and it's so much sacrifice, much like any other sport is.
Yeah. It's a lot.
And so you're dealing with these kids. You watch them grow up. Do you watch them? So Pop Warner is what you coach now.
Yeah.
And so do they eventually graduate to? Pop Warner's only up to a certain age.
8th grade, yeah.
8th grade.
And then, like, now, all my old cheerleaders that I'm still really close with, they're all getting married and having kids. And I'm like, what? Wait, you're still in 8th grade. Like, what happened to you? So, yeah, it's fun. Like, I love the kids. They're so amazing, and they work really hard. Like, I've had cheerleaders. I had one girl that broke her elbow in the middle of our routine at nationals, and I had no clue.
Wow. No, that's true. The dedication and devotion.
Right.
They don't want to disappoint. And also remember, they've worked, this is like any other competition. You've worked your whole year, your whole life up to this point. For 2.5 minutes. And so if something happens to you, it's kind of like gymnasts.
Yeah.
You know, the gymnasts that lose their, I don't know, they break something. They just want to go, they want to land that routine. So tell me a little bit about the behind the scenes, because that's always my fascinating part. Tons of were there crazy parents like there were and everything. What's up, Ada? Thank you. Were there crazy parents, and how did you deal with that? That was one of the things when I never coached anything because I'm not really a sports person. I was the dad that showed up with the cooler, right? But when I would look at people and see them just so negative toward their kids. And I'd be like, oh my God, I couldn't be the coach. I'd want to strangle each and every one of those parents. How did you handle that?
So I always seem to gravitate towards the kids that I know are struggling. The ones that have the biggest attitude or are, being problems at practice, those are the ones generally that are having issues at home. So those are the ones that I always seem to gravitate towards because I know that there's something going on that they're not saying.
Right. Right.
But, there were times when I would meet parents at the end of the year and I'd had their kids 4 days a week for 3 months and never met the parents.
That's crazy.
But I'm from Texas, so as you know, they kill people in Texas. They kill coaches. So
Friday Night Lights, baby. Listen, we've all seen those movies.
I figure if I can make it through coaching in Texas, Florida is like cake.
So it phased you because you love the kids.
Right.
But I guess that's the part. I just wish parents would be, I don't know. It's just funny to watch some of that stuff, and because I'm on the sidelines with my cocktail, it was much more amenable. Like I could handle it.
Yeah.
But I was always amazed at how the coaches, maybe you didn't experience this, but got yelled at, and then their kids got yelled at, and you're thinking, do you understand how much work both of them put in for nothing?
Yeah, I ran a program of 300 cheerleaders, so you can imagine how many parents. But no, most of them were very supportive and understood how hard we worked.
And that's what you want to focus on.
I'm good at separating the two. Like, I don't let people get to me. I tell my cheerleaders all the time, if you let someone have that power over you, then you've given them the power.
Agreed.
So I don't give people my power. It's mine.
Good
you
for
can't have it.
you. Where'd that come from? We only talked about, so did that come from, were you raised in a household where that was the norm? How did you get that kind of thought process? Because I wish more people had it.
I think 20 years of coaching.
20 years of coaching.
Yeah, 20 years of coaching. I learned, it's mine and you can't have it, and I'm the only one that can give that to you.
So if you're because you're basically the cheerleader of cheerleaders, which I almost named the show that. I thought that would be cool. But I think that that's such an interesting place to be because as a cheerleader, because of the discipline and because of everything you have to do, the sportsmanship, the team building, you have to act like a team and work like a team. It's incredible. That's the whole point. If you don't, then something's gonna mess up, and you have to embrace that mentality when you go into cheerleading. But you're the cheerleader of the cheerleaders because you're running it, you're encouraging them, you're helping them, you're negative and positive. You're trying to get them to be better. How does that translate to you getting into real estate? And tell us a little bit about the transition there.
I love to work with people, so that's really what brought me into real estate. Actually, I you know what's crazy? I don't ever remember what finally pushed me over the edge and just made me go for it, because I was an accountant. Before I got into real estate.
Is that what you did?
I did. I was an accountant.
That's such an interesting. See, you can't see my eyes, so you can't see my craziness. And I was like, what? So you were an accountant. How does that work? You go from being an accountant, which is all numbers, but you had it in you, obviously, to have the right brain part, the creative part, the cheerleading part, the coaching, which is not a numbers thing. It's a people thing.
Yeah.
So you had a great combination of it. You don't strike me as an accountant. Much like Mayor Demings was on, and he said, well, I was an accountant I'm like, what?
Yeah.
No idea, because most of the time accountants you think are in the back room somewhere clicking their abacus, their bean counters. They've got their little calculators, 400 of them. So you don't remember what pushed you over the edge or what was the catalyst to get you into real estate?
I really don't. I just know that all of a sudden I was like, hey, I'm going to go for it, and I did it, and I had some people that helped me, and then Veronica really, thank you, Veronica.
Who are we giving kudos to? Tony Cruz did pop on.
Hi, Tony.
Hi, Tony. We love Tony Cruz.
No, she pushed me to just finally just break out and just go for it and do it on my own, and I did, and thank God, because I absolutely love what I do.
So that's interesting. So you had a coach, you had a cheerleader.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's what happens. I think we all need somebody to kind of push us. Maybe because we're our own worst critic, so,
right.
And then we want to figure out ways to not do what our heart tells us to do. We've got the brain involved there. So if you've got somebody on the other end, like you had with Veronica, you're like, all right, well, if she thinks I can do it,
yeah,
But
Yeah.
how awesome for somebody to say that to you, and that's what I encourage on the show. I think you should say it more often to people. You can't see my eyes, but they're rolling. You should say it more often to people. You should give people that opportunity. If you see something amazing in them, why not point it out? Because maybe that's the one thing that they needed to hear in order to take the risk.
I'm really big on energy. Like, the reason I've always loved you is I love your energy.
Thank
I
you.
love that.
God
Like,
bless
that's
you.
big for me. I love people's energy. I love to be around people. I don't, which is funny because I'm a cheer coach, but I'm not like an over the top, really like energetic type person. That's just not my style. I'm actually more quiet and like think everything through before I do things.
Well, that's the accountant in you,
Right,
right?
right.
I get it. I get. You're more methodical on
I
that
am.
side.
I am. So I love being around people that have that great high energy. That's what I.
But you
Goes
have
towards.
that. You know where I'm seeing it the most? Right here on this show. Because I know you came kicking and screaming to the show. A lot of people do because it seems daunting, but now that you're in front of it, is it really that bad?
No.
I mean,
like
it's
we're
me,
just
you,
having
and a camera,
conversation.
and it's just a conversation.
Yeah.
We're saying hi to some of our friends, or people are being kind and sweet. And I think that that's, again, the leap you have to kind of take. But until you're in that situation, or you've got somebody like Tony who encourages you, and
Tony's
obviously
amazing.
Tony
Thank you,
is
Tony.
amazing. We love him. But I think it's so important to have a cheerleader for the. You have to have a cheerleader for the cheerleaders,
Well,
which
thank God right now, my husband is like my biggest cheerleader. Everything I want to do, he's like, go for it.
that's right, because you're Shawna Lafont Lopez.
That-
We learned that earlier, which is a whole new story.
Yes, I'm a Lopez.
I love that though, because you said your husband was Puerto Rican,
Yes.
and I said Lafont. I'm really confused.
Yes.
But I love the story. I mean, I just think it's so cool. So your husband's super supportive of what you do.
Super, like everything. Even when I told him, hey, I'm gonna go take on another cheer program, and it's a lot of hours. Like, I was at a meeting last night till 10 o'clock, I think. So it's a lot of
Wow.
hours, and he's whatever you want, babe. You go
Isn't
for
that, see, it's wonderful to have a partner in crime, a partner in general, who supports stuff. And even though it's not always perfect, because I'm sure there's some nights that your husband's like, seriously, 10 o'clock, Shawna, in his brain, but he knows that you love it and you're passionate about it, and he also knows that you're impacting lives. That's the other thing that, as a coach, as a cheerleader, what we have to, I feel like we have to give more kudos to, is that you're impacting a lot of lives over how many years? 20 years you've been a
20 years
coach?
of coaching.
Can you imagine the wisdom, whether you believe it or not, that you've imparted on those kids, or the team building? There are things that I remember from a coach I had in 7th grade.
Me too.
That said, and most of it went back to kindness for me, but I think it's so important to realize that you're making that impact. One of my favorite Oprah shows is when, not to bring Oprah up, but when
like
she
Oprah.
sees, it's like it's the end of the show, it's like the end episode, and she sees all of these gentlemen that she's sponsored at a scholarship for a college, and they come parading out.
Yeah.
And the Kristen Chenoweth is singing For Good, and you're bawling. Think about the impact that you've made in the 20 years. And
That's honestly the biggest reason I do it. Because I know, I mean, I had people that, you know, sometimes you have great parents and they're amazing, but maybe that's not the person that you want to go to with an issue that you don't want to talk to your parents about. It's so important, I think, to have other people
I agree.
to impact, like even my own kids. I've always wanted them to have other people that could impact their lives and be part of their lives. And, you know, I mean, your kids don't always listen to you. I know that. I have
No.
an 18 and a 20-year-old. They don't listen to me all the time. So it's good to have that other person that maybe can help them when maybe you as a parent can't.
But you
So-
want them to also, you want to encourage them to feel comfortable doing that.
Right.
Like, I know my kids, like, it's usually the order is Stacy, right? She's the generic. And then if I get a text message that says, "Hi, Daddy," I know there's something going on that only Daddy can handle. But I also know that they have a wide range of mentors and friends and people who are in their lives that can help them. And it's just so critical. So like you would be that person that's outside the family, so to speak, but still that person that they feel
Yeah,
comfortable
it's
with.
crazy. Like, I've had parents that are teachers that would come to me and say, hey, can you talk to my daughter about her grades? Which I think is hilarious because I'm not a teacher, but knowing that they know that I have an impact on their kids, I think that's extremely important.
Well, because they also know, which I love that parent had that wherewithal. They know that you are influential in their lives and that they'll actually listen to you at a time where most kids don't listen to anybody.
Right.
And so if you've got a kid that will actually look up to, respect, and hear, maybe even if it's only for a half a second, hear what you have to say, think about that. I understand why the parents would come to you.
Yeah, it's important, and it's a huge responsibility as a coach and a parent, but it's so rewarding just knowing that, you got to help somebody.
You got to help them. All right, so real estate is all about helping people too.
Right.
So when you made the transition, you said, all right, I'm going to take the leap. I'm going to count cheerleader, hashtag super secret spy, apparently. How was that? Was it as easy as you thought it would be?
It's the same thing. Like, I've learned through coaching that you respond to each person the way they want to be responded to. So I'm the same with my clients. I know that I can't treat every client the same. I respond to them. It's hilarious. It's the big joke in my house right now. One of my clients is always like, I love you. And
Aww.
it's, you form that relationship.
You do.
And for me, it's all about relationships in both coaching and real estate and everything I do. It's all about relationships. And I thrive on that. I live for that relationship that I form with my clients. So it's the same. Like, I feel like it kind of transitioned well.
I agree. I think that you are, you're basically coaching people through this big
Huge.
life momentous thing that's going on, whether you're selling the house of your dreams, that you are moving to a new place, buying the house of your dreams. There's something going on and they're trusting you, and so you're actually having to coach them because they're not professionals, they don't know.
And it's a stressful time, and
Very stressful.
Honestly, I try to make it as least stressful on them as possible. I am big on, I'll take all your stress, I'll take all the drama, I'll deal with it all so you don't have to. So it's, it works.
I think you should open every listing appointment and buyer's appointment with a drill team exercise, with baton twirling. Because right then and there, I'd be sold. I'm like, oh my God, she came and she twirled. Heck yeah, the American dream. That's right, Jack Louise. Because I think that people, what I get from you is that people sense that there's a safe environment. And so when you're dealing with that, when you're dealing with selling a house, and sometimes it's not the best situation, or you're buying a house and you know that it's going to be a process, or you're totally unfamiliar with it, you want to have somebody that's going to be your cheerleader, right? You want to have somebody who's going to be your mentor, your coach. And isn't it awesome to have somebody that actually coached cheerleading? But every single person needs to ask her to baton twirl. That is my next goal. You literally, if I had known that beforehand, I would have said not doing the show unless you bring that baton. All right, so tell us a little bit about the market, just because people love to hear just even a snippet of what you're experiencing, because the traditional media tells us that the market's a mess, even though rates are low and nobody's buying and nobody's selling and there's nothing going on in the market. And so every time one of my real estate friends comes on, I want to get their perspective.
It was really funny. My own dad last night, I was on the phone with him and he was telling me, I was listening to this guy and he was saying everything's a mess. And I'm like, if everything is as big of a mess as they're trying to say, why do I have so many houses pending right now?
Correct.
It is, but this is prime time. Everyone wants to move over the summer when the kids are out of school,
True.
Before school starts.
True.
So it's busy. I've been extremely busy lately. So I feel like the market's great. And with all the new construction right now, people are building like crazy. And I think I have 2 or 3 pendings right now that are new construction. Like, it's a good market. I want to buy it myself. I'm getting ready to buy my own house. So.
People stop listening to traditional mainstream media. Nothing against my friends that are in it, but here's the deal with mainstream media. They're going to tell you how to feel because it sells news. It sells. And so it sells for advertisers. And I think it's so critical for you all to little shows like this and I call them underground real news. The interest rates are still historically low.
Right.
The market is still awesome. Stop listening to that doom and gloom, the sky is falling mentality. There are a lot of amazing things going on in the market.
I don't think it could ever be a bad thing to own your own home.
I don't
Like, how could
either.
that ever be a bad thing? You're building equity. You have something that is yours, and it's a huge investment. So now you've made this huge investment in yourself. You have something that will always be yours.
And it's not
How
as
can that ever
hard.
be a bad
It's not
thing?
as hard as you guys think
No.
to get a real loan with real great interest rates. People are like, I could never qualify, and they tell me their story. I'm like, I don't understand. Like, are you hiding bodies? What? Why do you think? Why do you think you're? Well, because they've been renting, right? So
Right.
that generation, there's a generation thing, that millennial that goes up to now like 36, 35.
But you know, I feel like millennials now, like my own daughter yesterday was asking me to start pulling houses for her. She's 20 years old.
That's good.
And she
I
is
hope they're
ready
learning.
and understands
I
that
hope so.
it's a better investment for her to go ahead and buy. So I feel like millennials get it.
Good.
All this talk about millennials being bad, no, they get it.
Yeah, that's another thing. Don't believe everything you read about millennials. They are a unique breed. Hello, you rock stars. What's up, Mary? Yeah, I think we just have to stop listening to the naysayers. If somebody's told you something negative constantly over and over again, I would delete or unfriend or defriend. My friend Eileen says. I think it's super important for you to kind of listen to your own gut. And if it's out there in the market and you see a whole bunch of sold signs, or you know that your business is thriving and the economy's good, go out and take advantage of it. Don't bury your head in the sand and stay inside thinking the world is coming to an end, because I can tell you it's not.
I mean, I did the same thing. When I bought my last house, I was like, oh, I'll never qualify. I'll have to rent forever. And I'm a realtor. So don't listen to that. I did it. I bought a house. I sold it. I made money. Like, come on. You can do it. Anyone
can do it. Plus, who wants to pay $2,000 for a tiny little apartment with no, like, your bed and your kitchen and your bathroom are all in the same room?
Well, you're paying for someone else to make money.
I need you guys to really rethink that. All right, so we're going to share all of Shawna's contact information, how you can reach out to her, how you can see her with or without her glasses. There you know, it's all right. I can't take mine off. What's up, Louie? Happy Wednesday, my friend. Because I think it's important. So if you've got questions about the market, you've got questions about mentorship, cheerleading. I mean, come on. You want to see her twirl her baton. Wow. Twirl her baton. Ooh, I got to get that straight. Reach out to her. She's obviously incredibly open and accessible, and that's why I love her. I love this show. You did a fantastic job. Any parting words of wisdom for them? Anything you want to say before we head out?
I mean, my biggest thing, I told you when you asked me for a show idea. I suck at that, by the way.
You did great.
I treat others how you want to be treated. That's what I live by more than anything in the world. And then back to the power thing. Don't ever give anyone your power. Keep that.
Don't give anybody your power.
No.
Guys, you have 100% of the control.
Right.
I want you to keep it. I really do.
Right.
That's why when people say, so-and-so made me unhappy, no, they didn't. You're choosing.
Yeah.
You have to really, I know it puts the responsibility back on you, but I think it's super important for you to realize that you're 100% in control. You're in the driver's seat. Make it work. All right, Shawna, you've been a dream to have on here. Thanks for wearing the glasses, like the shades, just so Ted Boger could actually see through the interview. We love you guys. We'll be back around 1 o'clock. We'll talk to you soon. Mwah.